Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode, a new live broadcast. I just went into my mode of recording a regular video there. Welcome to another live broadcast. Hi to everyone who's already in the live chat and to everyone who has been waiting for this to go on. We certainly appreciate you. And if you wouldn't mind, we also appreciate it if you leave a like, especially if you are enjoying these live streams. So today, I'm actually going to kick it off with a few crypto stories. And then Toby, of course, is going to be bringing us with what's been happening around the world. So, hi, everyone. So also, I have decided that the crypto class, or the crypto wallet class, the free class that I will be offering to my Patreon members of the CT Club will be happening on Wednesday at this time. So exactly 1 week, and right now, 1 week from now, I'll do a free live video chat style class. So you guys can have your questions answered and learn from what other people are asking, and just get a more intuitive feel for what's happening with crypto wallets. It's a pretty small group right now, so it'll be a pretty intimate setting, which would be great for actually learning, I think. So anyway,
It's going to be a good class.
Of course. It's the first of many.
Yeah.
But anyway, so today I want to talk about what the crypto markets have been doing or reacting during something like a pandemic, something like an economic depression. So I found this article that goes over one particular crypto whale, Bitcoin whale, and his thoughts on this. Again, he's kind of repeating what Toby and I have been saying many times during these live feeds of liquidity driving the markets. And here he says, it's going to be the biggest economic shock of our generation. It will unfold in waves and over time, giving false hopes and then crushing them. The focus of the crisis will be shifting through different areas. Attempts to alleviate and solve one crisis will lead to more mess. Now, again, I'm not sure he's an absolute expert in this, but these are his thoughts. And also he says here, the scarcest commodity in the world is human time. Amen. Human time applied to productive activity is what makes the economy happen, producing everything we take for granted. Now, human time spent sheltering in safe places, not so much, meaning, again, this quarantine is going to affect the economy because it takes away everything that makes an economy happen. And so no amount of money printing can compensate for that. This also reminds me of, we were listening to Jim Rickards today. I have a lot against that guy, a lot that I don't agree with his outlook, especially regarding cryptocurrencies. But he did have an outlook on kind of the recovery of what, once we get past this, if we get past this, what is it going to look like? A lot of people are thinking, oh, it's got a lot of like build up. And so that's going to skyrocket the stock market again because, people can't wait to be spending money. But considering that time can't be replaced, and also, he mentioned that at least with the U.S. economy, I'm sure other economies that are similar, that are mostly service-based and not actually goods-based. An economy based on services, which is directly tied to your time and effort, that can't be replaced. And so it might not necessarily skyrocket right back to where it was. It might just for us, or for the U.S. economy, a recovery might just be, leveling off instead of dropping off more. So,
but it's also good to listen to other people as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you don't agree with that person, it doesn't matter. Listen to other sides of the story. People that dislike Bitcoin, unless it's like Peter Schiff who just bitches and complains about nothing and about losing a wallet or whatever. Actual people that understand their other side of the story. I think it's important to listen to. So
yeah, and absolutely to avoid finding yourself in an echo chamber. And if you want to strengthen your beliefs or your position regarding anything, practice it by conversing with people who have opposing views and find out what just how it's different and get a more well-rounded perspective. And it might enhance your views. It might, send you in a different direction, but it's all learning and growth. So that's something we should all be, looking out for. Next up, now, regardless of how whatever you guys think of crypto derivatives, I'm not necessarily a fan. It's definitely not what this crypto space was created for. Not to, create the same broken system that we're all battling with now, but as being a indication of the health of this cryptocurrency space during a time like this. The monthly crypto derivative volume hit an all-time high in March with a monthly gain of 5%. Also, it says that here, while exchanges specializing in both spot and derivatives for crypto assets saw record trade during March, institutional trade fell by almost half. So that to me signals that this relative price stability that we're seeing with Bitcoin during this time is being supported by retail investors, not these institutional investors that people think are going to be saving the day. They always think they're going to be saving the day for crypto. Everyone gets so excited when institutional investors show up, but I think it's a really healthy indication that they're not really doing it. And yet, surprisingly, Bitcoin is still surviving.
Amazing. Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Let's see. Also here for, another bullish case for crypto, here's a graph. Let me zoom out a little bit for you guys. Showing pretty much the cryptos.
Trying to get out of the way. That's the right way.
How they're reacting to this economic depression compared to things like gold or stocks. And yeah, you can see, gold has definitely bounced back quite a bit, but the initial drop and crypto is faring quite well in this.
Yeah. I think it also has to do with I think it's still correlated with the stock market, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So with that said, there could be, I'll discuss it later, but yeah. If you look at the history of like a Great Depression, which is what we're in now, or a depression, if you look at back in 1929, I think the stock market went down to 90%, about 89%. And so who knows if Bitcoin is going to follow that a little bit. I have no idea. It wasn't around 1929, so we are in uncharted territory. But with the halving coming up and more government printing, Bitcoin.
Two guarantees that have very opposing outcomes.
Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But once people learn this stuff, man, things are going to skyrocket.
Real quick, I want to say hi to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much for joining in. If you're enjoying these live streams, I encourage you to hit that like button if you haven't already. And if you don't want to miss another video like this, hit that subscribe button with the bell notification. So, hi everyone. Hi Doug. Hi HR. Hey Sir Newton. Dee Dee. Dizam. Good to see you guys here. Hi Jan. Miss you. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hey everyone. Great to see everyone here. Totally. Okay. So next story I have here pretty much is what I also referenced to in a past live stream, talking about how the scarcity of gold and the illiquidity found in that market is going to drive, I think, more adoption of Bitcoin and introduce them to the beauty of a digital currency, a hard asset, the hardest asset the world has yet to
Sounds
seen
good
yet.
To me.
Yeah. So, they're just kind of forced to see the light, I think.
Darn right.
So we'll see how that continues to play out. Also, I'm always talking about decentralization can be found in many different ways. And centralization can be found in many different ways within this cryptocurrency space, how networks are set up, how wallets are set up, how exchanges are set up. And this is an interesting article that kind of highlights, see if you can even read it, highlights how a decentralized network can be more resistant to the physical effects of something like a quarantine or a pandemic, and how the government chooses to react to that. But let's see. It also mentions mining here, which is interesting. It says, under the influence of the pandemic, again, the forced quarantine, the difficulty of maintaining, updating, and continuing production of mining machines has further increased, and the price plunge has left many mining machines on sale. The mining machine sales has occurred, and the average selling price of each mining machine is 30 to 50% lower than before the Spring Festival. So, for those of you who might have been interested in getting into mining, this might be your chance to get your hands on a cheaper mining rig. Also, with, there's talks of the hash, the Bitcoin hash dropping also because miners can't afford to be in production anymore. If you were ever wondering or, interested in trying to get mining some Bitcoin, maybe this could be your chance. Also, there's talks of like the Bitcoin halving and mixed with COVID and how that can make the price just plummet. And similarly, it's pretty much how there's this conspiracy now that there's going to be some miners. I mean, it's not that much of a conspiracy. It could be reality where some miners have prepared well enough that they can survive mining with a loss. Seen that with a lot of miners have been selling their Bitcoin now before the halving so that they can still afford to be mining with that cut profit that they're going to be getting with ultimately the same effort before the price catches up with the event of the halving, which always happens after. But so there's talk of these mining companies that will be operating at a loss, trying to flush out their competition in an effort to scoop up that extra position of mining and ultimately controlling the network. Now, whether that is in their actual best interest or not, I feel like they should understand the value of Bitcoin is not found in the centralization of its mining. And I think a lot of people are aware of that in that space. And if you're not, I did a video talking about this relatively recently, a few weeks ago, pretty much saying like, is it possible to take over Bitcoin? If you're interested, I highly recommend that video. Go ahead and search it out on this channel. But anyway, if you're concerned about that, the lowered hash rate, and now with these cheaper mining machines, I'm going to encourage anyone who can mine Bitcoin to go ahead and set up a rig. And this could be the chance to also bring some decentralization back into the mining of Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies that you're interested in. So for those of you who are interested in earning crypto that can't find a fiat on-ramp, or, just want to have a passive income, this might be your chance to, again, if you have some cash on hand, if you've prepared for this, this could be another investment that you can make. I'm not an expert on mining. I don't mine. So I don't know exactly the profitability of that, but if you've had your eye on it, maybe this is your opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I will speak more once everything Bitcoin related.
I'm doing crypto first.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not just here hanging out.
I'm filibustering this live channel. Last up, I wanted to do this warning for anyone. I'm never a advocate for mobile wallets.
Actually, can I?
Yeah.
Like, if people are worried about miners, okay, their profitability, I wouldn't worry too much, because I know a couple very big people that will mine regardless of whether or not there's a profit or not. Like, they have enough money, they will mine regardless. They are diehard Bitcoiners, and they will literally die before they give up mining.
Yeah, there's a lot of, not just hodlers of last resort, but miners of last resort also. Yeah. And Satoshi even spoke about that in his different communications before he went silent. He talked about, this this idea that there will always be someone willing to solidify a transaction on the blockchain for a cheaper fee, which that's yet to be played out. But anyway. Okay, so my last article here, again, is a warning for those who use, now it's not quite clear if this is talking about just iPhones or if also just for any Mac OS. Like right off the bat, when I'm reading about this, I'm thinking of MetaMask or any kind of browser collaboration with a cryptocurrency wallet. Here it is. Did Apple just kill crypto burner wallets? Burner wallets, non-custodial wallets that store a user's private key in the browser's local storage, may have just been killed off by Apple. It's feared that recent changes to intelligent tracking protection in the iOS on iPhones, so maybe it is just iPhones, will jeopardize this model for good. Now, if you use a mobile wallet that falls into this category, please be aware of this, that here's what happens. The change is designed to enhance user privacy, surprisingly for Apple, with client-side cookies expiring after 7 days. Now, this implies that burner wallets will be destroyed after that short period. So let's say you didn't know this update happened and you created a browser-based crypto wallet on your iPhone, and suddenly after 7 days, all of your information has been cleared, and you didn't know that, and suddenly your private key is gone, and without that, you cannot access your cryptocurrency wallets. So this is definitely something that I think a lot. So if you know someone or if you use wallets like this, please be wary and maybe stop using them. One workaround appears to be adding a burner wallet to the iPhone's home screen, but software engineers have warned that this doesn't appear to be an easy task. So, yeah, I'm not sure that affects every crypto wallet. Mobile wallet. I don't use mobile wallets, full disclosure, so I can't speak from experience there. I trust my crypto. I like my crypto too much to store any of it on my phone.
Mobile wallets. I mean, that should only be used for like tiny amounts.
Exactly.
Do not
like
put
$10 or something. Like
your entire bag inside there. Like,
no.
Please don't. Like
just because you can access your bank account on your phone does not mean you should be storing your cryptocurrencies on your phone. They're very different concepts. Ooh, maybe that's an idea for a video I just had. Maybe. That's literally how my ideas for videos pop up. Okay. Again, talking about wallets and crypto wallets, I'll probably be including this into, again, that free class that I mentioned. I will be doing a free live video chat style class on cryptocurrency wallets, covering all different types of aspects of cryptocurrency wallets. So if you are new or if you're interested in expanding your cryptocurrency storage options, I highly recommend you check out my Patreon page and join the CT Club. I will be hosting that class exactly 1 week from today, again at noon Eastern time. So you can take part of that and learn. Now, lastly, I thought that was the last one. I just want to go over, we're always talking about people making price predictions for crypto and how they're always wrong, and it's really just ridiculous to think that anyone can make a real price prediction. For example, Morgan Creek thinks Bitcoin is going to surpass its all-time high. He thinks it's going to go past $20,000 by September of this year. Again, this when did he made this prediction on April 2nd. So it was during the COVID thing. So he knew what was happening and he still thinks this.
I mean, it's good clickbait.
That's probably it, actually.
I mean, if you're desperate for attention, there you go.
Yeah. And then we have, here. How did they say? Based on the options market, they're saying there's only a 3% or 4% chance that Bitcoin will reach its all-time high this year in 2020. And then also you got this guy who's saying Bitcoin is going to reach $1 million per coin after COVID-19.
What? Anytime after? I agree with him. After that inflates away. Sure. I mean, come on. Give me a break, people. Like.
And he was basing this off of the total addressable market of Bitcoin based on the market cap of gold, thinking that those two markets are very tightly tied together, saying how, Bitcoin is the digital gold, the gold standard. Yeah. This is not a hopium. Price predictions are ridiculous, but they are entertaining.
They sure are.
So, okay, getting back to what Toby wants to talk about.
All right, so back to the economy. Okay, so like I talked about earlier, 1929 experienced a 90% decline in the stock market. And this was over a couple of years. So, as you see right here.
Sorry, I made it really small.
That's all right. So as you see right here, it dropped. You got a dead cat bounce, and then it dropped again, and then you have another dead cat bounce, dropped again, dead cat bounce, drop. Yeah, did its thing, and eventually dropped 90%. So, when you see the media saying, "Oh my gosh, stocks are making a comeback" and whatnot, well, keep in mind that during 1929, the Fed had some power, like some stuff to do to save the economy. Plus, Americans weren't in as much debt, so people weren't taking credit card loans all over the place, and there wasn't like incredible student loan debt.
Interest rates were at 0.
That's correct, and so on and so on and so on. Plus, you had pretty much for the entire duration of the Great Depression, you had 24.9% unemployment. Okay. Well, the Fed's calling for 33% unemployment by second quarter. Plus, that wasn't a global depression. We're experiencing a global depression right now. So I'm not going to make price predictions. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, this is going to 1,000 or whatever. But, the Fed is buying up stocks, which I'll go over in a couple more articles, and just know that they can do whatever they want. So that's just what 1929 looked like. And it seemed to have correlated pretty well so far with 1929, this crash. But we'll see what the Fed does. Okay, so Yellen says the Fed doesn't need to buy equities now, but Congress should reconsider it later. So either she has amnesia, or she forgot that she's buying up stocks. They're buying up stocks right now. Like, nobody in the right mind's buying up stocks.
Yeah,
or trillions of dollars to buy up stocks.
That's very true.
Not only that, but when you have unlimited quantitative easing, and you have oil dropping like a rock, and then you have the 10-year and 30-year dropping like a rock as well, and the stock market booming by 1,000 points, who's buying up the market? Come on, we know who's buying up the market. She didn't have to lie to everybody. So, next. Okay, so Bullard, who works for the Fed, he laid out a system where, this is a Fed talking. This isn't a doctor or somebody else like that. Okay, this is the Fed.
From St. Louis. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so laid out a system where every American would be tested every day.
Every day.
Every day. And would wear a badge with their negative result, similar to the ones and the healthcare sector would be able to bring care quickly to those in need. So, man, it reminds me of that. What did they wear? The Star of David, right? In Nazi Germany. I mean, this is where it's going. And if you want to hear what Bill Gates had to say, he was not a doctor as well. He said, Bill Gates declares large public gathering may not return at all until we have a vaccine that we've gotten out basically to the entire world. I mean, forced vaccinations with a digital certificate. That's what Bill Gates wants. This is a guy that has about 500,000 Monsanto shares. Have you ever heard of like Roundup and all that cancerous stuff?
Really healthy.
Very good friends with his grandfather or his father was very good friends with the Rockefellers and George Soros. I think headed up Planned Parenthood. I mean, this guy is incredibly dangerous, and he has a lot of power. And I just bring it up there because I guess that's one thing that scares me the most. Maybe not a lot of people, but travel. If you don't have a forced vaccination, you can't go to a restaurant or get a job or do whatever. So these are the things that can really affect people later on in life. And who knows what's in these vaccinations? I mean, I don't trust these guys.
I mean, not to mention, like you said, like comparing it to the Star of David, but in this case, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you do have the certificate, then you have been inoculated by that vaccine. Who knows what's really in it? And if you haven't, you're going to suffer the social repercussions of, being this like danger to society when you chose, to take some autonomy over your own body. And yeah, like just this whole, I think there's going to be after this people who still buy into this fear tactic, and it's going to be like a boiling frog scenario for them where they're going to be okay with whatever measures the government decides to take because for them it's justified because they're so scared and they're buying into it. And yeah, so it's going to be a lot of social repercussions I can see if this gets implemented.
It's not implemented yet. This would take probably
a lot of people are
a
talking
year
about
to
this.
year, a month and a half, or a year and a half.
They're so eager to do a vaccine for something that they don't even know what the real death rate is. They don't even know really how many people have been infected by it and have gone on and didn't have any symptoms. And then it went away,
Tell me about your mother who works at a...
Oh, yeah. So, my mom works at an assisted living facility. And so, obviously, there's a lot of flu shots that happen. And it's not uncommon knowledge to know that now, because of the invention of the flu shot, that virus wants to survive. And so, it has morphed into different versions. So just because there's a flu shot for one doesn't mean and so it causes it to mutate, right? And also I've never had the flu shot. I haven't had the flu in like 5 years, if not longer. And my mother thankfully also, doesn't believe in the flu shot, which I think is great. But she sees people who take the flu shot and still get the flu. And so what does that really say about the vaccine? It's just a way for these pharmaceutical companies to make money and capitalize on your fear. And I think it's really important for all of us to pay attention to, what we see day to day versus what we're hearing on the news. And yeah, don't take that
I mean, if
for
you
granted.
want to take the flu shot or the vaccine that when it comes out, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, go ahead.
It should be voluntary.
It should be voluntary.
That's what it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next.
Heavy.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about unemployment and stuff, and Under Armour lays off 6,700 workers and stores are closed for good. I mean, this will continue more and more and more. I just bring up just Under Armour just because it's a huge company and that a lot of people wear their stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just one example of many more.
It's also a huge sponsor for pro sports. I know there's like no more professional sports anymore, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. No more bread and circus.
I don't know what ESPN is. I never watched ESPN in years anyway, but I don't know. I can't see that channel listening anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things are going to be crumbling.
Definitely.
But a lot of things will be built. So.
Yeah, the free market will come in and rebuild everything if it's allowed to. So that's the main thing, if it's allowed to. So that's why we are here, to get out more information, and so that you can spread the word and share what could be happening down the line, and so that you're aware about it. And then when your friends hear about it from what you told them, then they'll go, oh, wait a second, this is what so-and-so says. Yeah. And like, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. And
even if they write you off at first.
Yeah.
They might feel like, oh, wait.
My friends, my closest friends, they all think I'm just nuts. They just think I'm freaking out of my mind.
Even cooped up in the house too long.
Oh, man, they just don't even want to hear me anymore. So I'm like, all right, fine. But you know what? I'm still going to bug them because I care about them. And yeah, so, okay.
Did you want to talk about this?
Okay, so this happened. Okay, so Under Armour, they're getting booted. Pretty much the people that are working there in the stores, and so now you're getting companies like H&M who are refusing to pay rent because they know that they have leverage. Like if you have leverage over the person that's renting, like because who else is going to rent? You know, like if you have commercial real estate finished after this, I believe it's done. I mean, you're going to have an occasional store or whatever, but my goodness, like you can't shut down the entire global economy and expect your commercial real estate to even remotely survive the way it did. So like they have all the leverage possible. And I think Adidas did something in Germany where they refused to pay the rent, even though they had plenty of money, and they got pressured by the people to pay the rent. So then they came out with a public apology and said, hey, we're sorry for doing this. Now we're going to pay rent or whatever. But expect way more of these. Way more. Okay, that you may be wondering, well, why are you showing me a fire at a Florida airport destroyed?
We were going over these articles before going live, and I was like, why are you showing this?
Yeah. And okay, so what I see here is like, okay, there was a fire that destroyed more than 3,500 rental cars. Well, I see this as insurance fraud, obviously. Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to burn 3,500 cars, I'm sorry, at one time, without a fire engine coming. So you're going to probably see a lot of companies doing this because they can't get rid of their inventory. Yeah. So why not just get rid of it by accident? And
also for a lot of people who think like, 2 weeks is no big deal, that's not going to affect anything. If this was some kind of insurance fraud thing, we're kind of throwing some allegations out there.
Come on.
But if it was, it certainly didn't take long. They must have had some kind of overhead costs that made them panic. Especially maybe coming to the realization again that, they're definitely in the tourist industry.
Yeah, and gasoline and a match is a cheap price to pay for your inventory.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Next up.
Okay, so the lengths governments go to keep people from, going out there and hanging out with their friends or whatever, or talking to people, because that's a really bad thing. Tunisia unleashes RoboCop to enforce virus lockdown. So that's just one example of people of countries where they're going. Like last week we discussed the Philippines. The Filipino, I think, president said, hey, shoot anybody that's outside not obeying quarantine. I'm like, gosh, these people are nuts. Like,
I think he was trying to say it's also if they're being violent, but still, shoot them dead is quite a serious order to give regardless of the situation.
Oh yeah, and then I just learned before we started this that Las Vegas is implementing their National Guard to keep people from
6 feet away from each other.
Yeah, to make sure social distancing is happening.
Yeah. But
gosh,
okay,
man.
But what this reminds me of is we have a friend, she actually just messaged me. Angel, if you're watching this, hi. But a friend of ours who we met, she lives in Hong Kong. Yeah. And when this all started going down, Hong Kong obviously being one of the first hit, she was showing me, the kind of protection that was being provided to the medical staff versus the police officers. And the medical staff there were on strike because of, they were so incredibly exposed to it was still very new then. They didn't know really what it was or how deadly it was. But still, you know, the government takes care of itself. And in that case, they were taking care of the police officers enforcing the law. You know, they had like these huge, like full hazmat suits, and the medical staff just had like a simple mask, not even an N95 mask, and like gloves, and that was it. And so like this, with them, you know, justifying their police force being a robot, like that's just ridiculous. I mean, for the medical field, totally justifiable. I get it. Like for now, there, you know, I've seen stories of people going to their doctor, and you know, you go to the doctor, and then you're waiting for the doctor to come in and enrolls an iPad on wheels. So I get that. That's kind of justifiable, but that's just ridiculous. And not to mention the fact that the removal of the person from enforcing the law is very dangerous. You know, it's just like the drone flying during wartime, dropping bombs. It's not actually a person flying the drone. Dropping bombs anywhere is atrocious, and I am not a proponent of that for any situation. But this whole like removal of, it's like, oh, what's that movie with Tom Cruise and the law and I can't remember.
I don't know.
The movie. Anyway, it's like this removal. It's like this automation of law enforcement. And that is incredibly scary, especially if it's a misunderstanding and you're actually innocent, but, you know, the computer doesn't have emotion. So, anyway, not to get too doom and gloom again on here. But, so here we have a tweet. Says, speaking of bombing, imagine a nation so extreme it would pay 70,000 pounds to load a missile onto a 28 million pound drone, not weight-wise, but cost-wise, flown at a cost of 3,624 pounds per hour to kill poor people in a foreign land. But it would be so reluctant to buy ventilators for sick people and protective equipment for medics during a pandemic.
I mean, this just goes to show
motivations and
well, your government doesn't give a
value.
crap about you, obviously, because they're giving you $1,200 while bailing out their buddies on Wall Street.
Yeah.
And while trying to get the price of oil up so it can skyrocket, because, you know, that does you really good, you know, especially for the farmers and stuff that need to rely on cheaper oil because they're not making as much profit. And so on, you know, especially when you need to get to work when you begin work again. And, you know, the price of oil is really high because your government decided to try to decrease the supply of oil. Like, come on here. Yeah, so that's pretty much, it's become an absolute joke.
All right, next up.
Okay, so coronavirus upends global food supply chains and latest economic shock. So all I just really want to go through with here is you're seeing supply shocks everywhere. You're having countries closing their border, restrictions like crazy. You know, the border patrol is just going on level 5 craziness here. So they're restricting the amount of free trade that goes through their countries as well, and you're going to see a lot of bad things happening to this. Okay, this is like 3 weeks in, so yeah, supply chains. Once those break completely, there goes your oil, there goes your gasoline, there goes a lot of the stuff that you are used to, like deliveries or whatever, you know, that gone. See you later. Unless you have a completely local economy, like that will be shattered for a very long time. Okay, so going over this, 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. This is in the U.S. This was before the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So, like, how bad is it going to be now? You know, people are like, oh, the economy was booming. Well, not really. You know, you have 70% of workers living paycheck to paycheck. That's not a good economy. Sorry to say, but that's a pretty crappy economy. You didn't have that in 1929, let me tell you that. So, we can read between the lines of what like CNBC says or, whatever mainstream outlet says about the economy and how good it was, and what the Fed says how good it was. They're lying to you. They're either lying or they really have no clue what the heck they're doing, which I highly doubt that's the case. So
lastly, I'm going to zoom out for this one. We have this quote. I need to zoom out even more. Hold on. Ooh, too much. Okay. So you found this quote. We're not sure who wrote it.
I think this might have been from I misplaced it. I don't know why, but I think this is from a document that the Rockefellers wrote. So
it says,
here you go.
Even after the pandemic faded, the more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens, authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck and even intensified. In order to protect themselves from the spread of increasingly global problems like pandemics and transnational terrorism to environmental crisis and rising poverty, leaders around the world took a firmer grip on power. So again, what we were talking about before is, what's said over and over, both by us and you guys commenting, is there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government measure.
Or solution, yeah.
Yeah, Hegelian dialect, hello. But
yeah,
like it's not going to go backward. They're not going to give up control, because why would they? And, even though this passes, there's always going to be another excuse for this power or control that they need over you, because they know best.
Yeah, I mean, when people give government a little bit of wiggle room, they're going to take everything plus a little more every time, and they're probably not going to give that back. So say for instance, when the Patriot Act was used to pretty much spy on people, so then came the NSA, so they really they completely they lit on fire your Fourth Amendment. If you're in the United States, you have zero Fourth Amendment, zero. Like nothing doesn't exist anymore. And so now with like forced vaccinations, if they decide to do that if you guys allow that to happen, then that opens up the gate to, like complete non-sovereignty of your body or of your entire life. So that's why I say it. If you want the vaccine, fine, go ahead and take it. If you don't, and they're going to force it to you, that's a completely different world. And I don't think you want a world like this. And if you do want a world like this, I don't think you understand the ramifications of a world like that. You don't want to live in a world like that, people. Seriously. Like, spread the word. Like, this is serious stuff. This isn't a joke. Like, the moment they gain that over your body, it's over. So let me go over. Let's see.
Oh, people always bring up 5G in the comments here. It's something we have not.
I don't know much about 5G. I've heard a lot of things happening right now about it, but I've been so focused on the vaccines, like keeping up to date with that, and the global economy. But I don't know know much about 5G other than like there's so much controversy over 5G. Thus, governments are deciding to push it as hard as they can right now without any or very much studies on like the health effects of 5G. So like if there's so much controversy, like, hey, chill out on it. Why not study independent studies, not government studies? Like, when they're like, oh yeah, the government's deciding to do a study on it. No, independent studies. That's what we need. So if we can have that over many years, I'm not talking like, over 6 months. No, you need like many years to study this stuff. Like you don't just go out and all of a sudden you're an
expert. Like suddenly there's so many experts on COVID-19.
Gosh. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's my opinion right now, is that if there's so much controversy, just stop it right now. And because there's a lot of intelligent people that I see sending me stuff on 5G, and I'm like, okay, there's something to look into on this. Maybe I should, but I don't know enough about radiation. I don't know enough about that stuff. So just being honest,
Yeah.
So
It's good to admit you're not an expert if you're not an expert.
I'm not an expert. So yeah, but but I have been around enough to know that vaccines should not be enforced.
Yeah.
And that you should not have to wear a badge everywhere you go.
Identifying your
We've seen this
status.
before in the 40s. And how did that turn out? So you don't want that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what? Oh, do you have any thoughts on how the decentralized nature of Bitcoin might be used to protect the integrity of voting in elections?
I mean, put it on the blockchain.
Yeah. Transparency.
Governments are going to do that.
No, I mean, but it's not. That's been an idea that's been relatively, used in Africa. It was used for elections because the corruption there was so rampant that they were happy. The citizens demanded some other option. I'm sure they were very excited to have something like that happen. But yeah, absolutely. I think blockchain has many different implications, more in addition to like a financial tool, although that is one heck of an implementation that is important to pursue, but also something, again, like you're saying, elections, for sure. I think it's great. So, all right. I think, we got it at 46 minutes.
Yeah, we wanted to
just trying to cut it short.
Cut it down, you know, from an hour, so.
But I guess we just enjoy talking so much.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you everyone who has participated in this live chat. Again, if you enjoy this, I appreciate it. And Toby appreciates it. If you leave a like.
And SEBRZ, I'll check that out. Thank you for the
oh yeah, they were talking about David Icke and now Dr. Butter. Good name.
And your class too.
Yeah. I can tell them. So give a like, share this one out so other people can learn this information. If you think it's valuable, strike up a conversation. And again, you can find information for the class I've been referencing several times now in this video, that free live chat style
next
class.
Wednesday, right?
Yes. A week from today, Wednesday at noon.
First ever.
Eastern time.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be the first, and it's going to be glorious.
Yes.
So get your questions answered. Also, you guys can send me, if you have any preliminary questions, again, on Patreon during this, if you're in the CT club, send those questions out so I can make sure that I have, appropriate information for you right off the bat. But yeah, so anyway, can't wait to see you guys there. In the meantime, I'll be coming to you again with another video, this time going over decentralized exchanges, my recommendations for those, what to look out for, and if they're really decentralized. Great topics to learn about, especially in this space.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Thanks again for everyone, and I certainly appreciate it if you'd subscribe with a bell notification if you haven't already, so you can get notified when more videos like this come out. Until then, we'll see you again soon.
Peace.
Stay happy and healthy. Bye.